sworn in as the 46th President of the United States. We'll break down his first changes in office and what the Montana congressional delegation has to say. Plus,
I think it's progress, and I think that's really what everyone is looking for.
The Cascade County Board of Health loosened COVID-19 restrictions, how businesses feel, and what you need to know about the changes.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, Joseph R. Biden took the oath of office today, becoming the 46th President of the United States and concluding an extraordinary transfer of power.
Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
A field of flags in place of the supporters who could not safely travel to the inauguration. President Biden vowed to beat back the pandemic and bridge the political divide. He explicitly condemned white supremacy on a day when this country marks a milestone moment. Vice President Kamala Harris took her oath of office, breaking barriers of gender and race. And all three members of Montana's congressional delegation attended the inauguration. Republican Senator Steve Daines released this statement saying, "I look forward to working with the Biden administration when we can find common ground for the good of Montanans, but I will also vigorously work against their agenda when I think it will harm our great state." Daines initially supported challenging certification of Biden's Electoral College votes and called for a commission to examine the voting process in disputed states, but he reversed course after a mob stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Democrat Senator John Tester said, quote, "Now it is time for Congress to come together and get things done for folks in Montana and across rural America. I will work closely with the new administration and I will hold them accountable to make sure we quickly get this pandemic under control so we can reopen our economy and get Montanans back to work." Montana's lone representative in the House, Republican Matt Rosendale, said, quote, "The inauguration is one of our most sacred institutions of the United States government, and it has been an event that has happened every 4 years since our constitutional government began. I will continue to hold President Biden and Vice President Harris in my thoughts and prayers as they begin to lead our nation," end quote. Rosendale continued to oppose the certification of Biden's electoral votes after the mob stormed the Capitol 2 weeks ago. Now you can read their full statements online at KTVH.com. And President Biden wasted no time getting to work. In the midst of the inaugural events, Biden signed a number of executive orders. So what is he changing right away and what will take some time? Joe St. George reports from Washington.
We've come so far, but we still have far to go.
President Joe Biden is now in office, the country's 46th president, and he's already changing policies impacting Americans through executive orders, which don't require approval from Congress. Big change number one, federal student loan payments suspended again. It is one of the president's first actions. You will not have a payment until October at the earliest. But for Americans with massive student debt,
about 215,000.
Renee Nicole Allen is hoping Biden does more than just that in the next 4 years. Canceling some student loan debt would be nice.
I think we really need to evaluate our education cost.
Big change number two, banning evictions and foreclosures through March. It's estimated 14 million Americans are behind on rent and 11 million are behind on their mortgage. Big change number three, ending travel restrictions for some majority Muslim countries.
I'm a proud Iranian American.
Kevin Amir Ashani is with the Iranian American Council. He says former President Trump's restrictions stopped family and friends from visiting the U.S. for years. That changes today.
We have people who have not been able to be in touch with their parents for years, in some cases missing funerals. We've had children born here who have not met or seen their grandparents.
And big change number four, rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement and canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. That's a big win for environmentalists who are concerned about the climate, like Ken Ilgunis, who walked across the 1,700-mile pipeline route back in 2012.
Yeah, I do have some anxiety over climate change. out of the sake of my daughter's life.
A new mask mandate as well by the new president impacting when you enter a federal building or when you participate in interstate travel. But the biggest priorities of the new president will require congressional action. He's set to send a comprehensive immigration bill to Congress. He's already introduced a COVID economic relief package, more stimulus checks. But each one of those issues requires debate and time, and it may be several weeks or months before they get passed. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Well, join MTN News tonight for a Facebook Live political roundtable. Jay Cohn and chief political reporter Mike Dennison will be joined by MTN analysts Ashley Strong and Eric Stern. They will talk about the day's events in D.C. and discuss the new Congress and our Montana delegation. Join in the conversation tonight at 6:30 on the KTVH Facebook page. All right, well, I grew up under a rock, but I have seen this movie.
What movie?
E.T., right? Am I right?
Oh yeah, E.T. Hey, good evening, everybody. We're going to phone home and phone into a little wintry weather out there. Hope you're having a nice day so far. Take a look at this, though. We've got a winter weather advisory for the southwestern part of the state here. Just a little light snow coming through as we get through your Thursday here. Actually, a series of snows. Don't worry, it's not going to be big snows, just talking little snows here. Where'd the wind go? Yeah, the wind dying down, and who cares where it went? At least the wind has died down. And over the next several days, one thing that will be consistent, at least consistent cold temperatures. Not brutally cold, but a little cooler than what we've experienced here. I'll have more in the full forecast coming up later on the show.
Cascade County is loosening COVID-19 restrictions. The decision came during a special meeting this morning. MTN's Coulter Anstadt breaks down what is happening.
Cowboys bar manager Diana Olson didn't hesitate when asked how the loosened COVID-19 restrictions in Cascade County will impact the bar.
Immensely.
Bars and restaurants will now be able to stay open until 12:30 a.m., but will then have to close until 4 a.m. Since last November, the county has required them to close at 10 p.m.
It was just tough on the girls more than the bar because they weren't making money to pay their bills.
They'll now also only be limited to 75% capacity instead of 50%.
I'm thinking this is fine right here. I'm content with this.
We're going to go back to what size of the event.
The issue of capacity limits for events, however, drew the most discussion during Wednesday's Board of Health meeting.
Why is that?
The limit was set at 250 people for indoor events and 500 for outdoor events. After public comments, however, board members considered allowing event venues to apply for an exception to exceed the limits or capping event attendance at 75%, but a motion to change the bar and restaurant capacity restriction to include events failed.
I think it's progress, and I think that's really what everyone is looking for.
Foothills Community Christian School Advancement Coordinator Carrie Koteski spoke at the meeting, asking the board to consider the 75% cap for events. She says it would help with the school's annual spring fundraiser, a huge part of the school's funding.
We'll, get back in the trenches and work with Trish and see what we can do. For us, we'd really just like to have the opportunity to move forward with our planning.
Board members opposed to changing the capacity limit noted the change can easily be made at a future meeting. In Great Falls, Coulter Anstadt, MTN News.
Well, the changes take effect at 5 a.m. on Friday. Now taking a look at the state's COVID-19 situation, active cases of COVID-19 in Montana continue to sit just below 5,000. One death has been reported since last night, and that brings the statewide death total to 1,115. Active hospitalizations continue to decline and sit at just below 160. MTN uses a combination of state and local data to provide you with the most up-to-date numbers regarding COVID-19 in our state. And because of that, our numbers may differ from the state report. And when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz will have a complete check of your forecast and storm tracker weather, and later, we'll show you the new resources to help Montanans kick the tobacco habit.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenens.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'll be right here for the rest of this evening. Good evening, good afternoon to you all. Taking a look at the satellite, we've got a little snow event that will be moving towards Montana. A little area of low pressure that is working its way down the coast of British Columbia. It's going to slide right into the state here as we go into your Thursday here. So not a big storm, but a little snow nonetheless. Not a lot of snow making its way as far north into the state around Great Falls. 36 degrees right now, southwest winds, nothing, 12 miles per hour. Certainly is nice. Helena, a fair amount of cloud cover. The wind is light. It did pick up a little bit at times today into the higher terrain. 30s and 40s out there as far as the temperatures go. And the wind, all right, it's still pretty windy around the Livingston area. Sustained winds at about 39 miles per hour. We're up to about 17 miles per hour in Lewistown, but winds really coming down after yesterday where we had some gusts up over 50, even 60 miles per hour once again. Hey, here's the winter weather advisory. This one going through tomorrow and for some parts of the area going all the way into Friday morning. Now, light snow. Valleys likely picking up between 1 and about 3 inches. The mountains could see as much as 5 inches of snow. Kind of a prolonged period of just, again, some very light snow that will be coming through. On the radar, nothing right now. Some snow up there around Saskatoon, and also a few flakes of snow beginning to work their way across the central western parts of Washington and Oregon. The Cascades picking up a little snow, but I know it doesn't look like much. It's not going to be a lot for a lot of the state, but nonetheless, a little light snow coming through. Also a little light rain down into Southern California. Great to see that. Arizona, New Mexico, seeing some rain and some higher elevation snow. Really an exceptional drought going on down there in the southwestern part of the country. So here's what will happen. We had a lot of sunshine, central and eastern areas, but heading through tonight, a little snow starting to pop up into some of the mountain areas here, and then through the early morning hours, there's a little of that snow around Missoula, around Butte and Bozeman as well, down through Livingston. At times, some of that snow coming up close to or around the Helena area, but the snow should remain south of Lewistown and really south of Great Falls. There may be a few flakes flying in Great Falls and along the Rocky Mountain front. There's some of that snow continuing here through Thursday night, and again, just a few flakes here into southwestern Montana on Friday. We'll still look at just a little in the way of some snow maybe Friday night around Helena. So rounds of just some light snow. By tomorrow noontime, that accumulation starts to build up towards Helena and at Lewistown, but again, that accumulation really should stay south of Great Falls and for the most part south of Lewistown. Lewistown could see on the south side of town up to about 2 inches, nothing in Great Falls, but by the time we get into Friday, the hills south of Helena, Montana City, Clancy, Jefferson City, maybe as much as 3 inches of snow. Forecast for tonight, teens and 20s. The wind, not really that much of an issue. Clear skies up across the northern tier of the state, 18 in Lewistown, and clouding up around Helena. And here's the forecast for your Thursday. Babb, Cutbank, Conrad, actually a beautiful winter's day with some sunshine and not a lot of wind. Highs a little cooler. Look at that, Opime, only 20 degrees. 27 in Lewistown, some flakes of snow into the little belts, the big belts, and around the Helena area, looking at some of that light snow. So some light snow throughout the Helena area tomorrow, especially through the afternoon, the evening, and spotty through the day and night on Friday night into Saturday morning. The rest of the weekend looking pretty good and consistently cold. Temperatures actually running a little bit below average in the 20s to the 30s. There you can see some of that snow light, mainly south of Great Falls, both Thursday and Friday.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Well, new at 5, state public health officials announced new tools to help Montanans stop using tobacco products. MTN's Alexia Guayo reports.
Tobacco use remains the #1 preventable cause of death in Montana, according to the American Lung Association. The Montana Tobacco Quit line is available to help state residents looking to quit any form of tobacco. Now in 2021, the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services announced changes and additions to the Quit line.
The Montana Tobacco Quit Line has launched a variety of program enhancements just aimed to give all Montanans who use tobacco the best chance of quitting for good.
These enhancements include a new program for young adults ages 18 to 24 that utilizes live texting with a coach. All Montanans now also have the opportunity to have a live online messaging chat with a coach. The manager of the Montana Tobacco Use Prevention Program says 2021 is the year the Quit Line adapts to modern times.
Historically, you have to pick up your phone and call and talk to a coach, but we recognize that people have moved away from that over the years, and a lot of people are more comfortable communicating with somebody over chat, over text messaging, and we want to meet people where they are.
Folks can still call the Quit Line and speak with someone over the phone. Another added feature is a new Quit Line phone number and website for American Indians. Their unique phone number connects them with a coach who is also American Indian. Another advocate for these additions is the American Lung Association. They can help people choose the most helpful resource in their journey to end tobacco use.
And I think the critical thing for people who do want to quit smoking is to find those that are most meaningful and most helpful to them.
While supplies last, the Quit Line resumed offering free Chantix to Montanans who enroll and complete their first coaching call. The Montana Tobacco Use Prevention Office says with Chantix and coaching incorporated together, folks can have a 50% chance of quitting tobacco compared to only about 4% when using no resources. In Helena, I'm Alexi Iguayo, MTN News.
Montana Quit Line and specialized numbers are on your screen right now. Plus, we have more links to resources online at ktvh.com. And coming up next on the News at 5, how social media is helping small businesses connect with clients during the pandemic.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back to the News at 5. Social media has changed the way we do almost anything, and MTN's Andy Curtis found that is especially true for business owners who are turning to online interaction during a time when physical interaction is complicated.
Being a small business owner means always learning and adapting. That became very important once COVID restrictions and safety measures began changing how local proprietors interacted with their customers.
Definitely have increased my Facebook presence, and I have seen a pretty good increase of response back from the community.
Sarah Pedersen, owner of Keeping It Green in Helena, and business owners just like her have seen the importance of having a social media presence grow recently.
It's become a great way for us to be able to communicate with people, maybe in a more personal way, and certainly more relative to the day.
Like advertising their store safety precautions, hours, additional services for customers who don't feel comfortable physically being in the store, and even a chance to have a little fun.
We do a customer appreciation event, and we did it all on Zoom and Instagram and Facebook Live. And we maxed out the Zoom that we had set up, and we had a lot of good interaction. We had chats going back and forth, and it was fun, and we learned a lot. Like we were doing a prize drawing, and we got to, I got comments from people that were saying, this is the best drawing ever because I'm doing it from my hot tub drinking a beer.
But even with all the positives of social media, there is a slight downside.
You get negative reviews from time to time. You can't keep everybody happy. We try our best, but I don't have a whole lot of problem with that.
Sometimes there are some personal things that happen or get said, and I try not to take that personally.
But what is personal for every small business owner is the success of their business, which right now means growing with social media.
It'll, I'm sure, change from one format to another, and we'll change with that.
In Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN News.
For more information on Keeping It Green and Capital Sports, along with links to their social media pages, check out this story on our website, ktvh.com. And up next, we'll wrap things up here, but first, here's a look at what's coming up on NBC Nightly News.
Tonight on a special edition of NBC Nightly News, the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The new president's message and how he's spending his first hours in office. We go across America to hear from voters and find out what they want President Biden to prioritize. Plus, my reflections on this extraordinary day in history.
from Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Well, the Capitol police officer, hailed a hero for his actions during the January 6th attack, got a special honor at the inauguration. Officer Eugene Goodman, seen here in the mustard-colored coat and blue scarf, is escorting Vice President Kamala Harris. When his arrival was introduced, there was a loud round of applause. Now, on January 6th, Goodman was seen on video leading a mob away from an unguarded Senate door during the riots. Goodman has been promoted to acting Deputy Senate Sergeant at Arms for his heroism. And that does it for the news at 5. We'll see you back here tonight at 6 with your latest local news and another look at the weather. Have a good evening.